This place is going to be packed.
I think there's going to be maybe a 40% turnout.
I don't know. I kind of hope not.
Due to ongoing health restrictions, 420 Vancouver organizers say for the second year in a row, there will be no official gathering at Sunset Beach. But will people decide to show up anyway? Before COVID-19, we saw crowds peaking somewhere between 50 and 60,000 people. Now, last year was fairly tame. However, this is a different year, and we're seeing more and more fatigue over COVID-19 related restrictions. On the weekend, Mayor Kennedy Stewart reacting to reports of large beach gatherings in the city, saying on Twitter, "Now is not the time to be gathering in large groups. I've been in contact with Chief Palmer, and after a busy weekend, the VPD will be reassessing their approach to outdoor parties." Hamish Telford, an associate professor of political science with the University of the Fraser Valley, says while last year we saw very little activity for 420, this year people are feeling worn out.
People are tired and frustrated. We've got glorious weather, the first good weather of this year.
People at Sunset Beach on Monday afternoon also having some uncertainty about what's in store.
Terrible idea, but then also people are tired of all the rules and the restrictions that have been in place for more than a year now, so...
I hope not, but I think some people will definitely come out if it's a nice day.
I think there'll be small gatherings, maybe.
Telford also says governments and police are likely between a rock and a hard place when it comes to public demonstrations.
People have been out protesting, which is a constitutional right in Canada, and our governments and health authorities, while they've imposed restrictions, are reluctant to clamp down on what are guaranteed constitutional rights.
I think they should definitely have the right to protest.
And I've always agreed with what they're protesting. I think if they do it, they should gather kind of, again, the way it is out here now, or in separate pods.
Even I'm not a fan of marijuana, I think everybody has a right to protest.
Yes, they should, but given the times that we're in, is it necessary to have it right now? I don't really know.
The City of Vancouver, in a written statement, tells us enforcing physical distancing in public with penalties is the jurisdiction of the province, and that city enforcement staff involve the VPD when dealing with people or businesses who are persistent offenders. The VPD say they're on the ready.
I'm not aware of any major events that are planned for 420 tomorrow. We'll have officers available and deployed throughout the city, as we always do, and these officers will be able to respond to anything that pops up.
Any chance that you're gonna make your way on down here tomorrow to see if something's happening?
Highly unlikely. I might pass by on my bike, but definitely not stop around.
Probably not, but I'll partake in my own way.
Next year we can properly celebrate.
420 Vancouver did not respond to our request for an interview. In Vancouver, David Zura, City News.
Despite the ban on organized events, a few hundred people made their way to Sunset Beach for a cannabis rally this afternoon. CTV's Ben Milger reports from the hill above the crowd.
Well, in a typical year, we would see tens of thousands of people down here for the annual 420 cannabis celebration. Organizers canceled the event last year and this year due to the pandemic. But as you can see in the parking lot behind me, there are still about a half a dozen tents set up down there with vendors selling all manner of cannabis products. There is a sound system. We have seen various musical acts playing throughout the day. The crowd has thinned considerably since its peak at 420. Nobody that I spoke to down there is willing to own up to organizing this event. We have seen Vancouver police circle the parking lot, but only a couple of officers at a time, and there has been no real attempt to shut this down, despite a lack of physical distancing and only about half of the people that we see down there wearing masks. Scott, Mi-Chung.
All right, thank you, Ben.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. It's the 20th of April, and that, of course, means 420, the annual celebration of all things pot-related. But as CTV's Ben Milger reports, even though there's a ban on organized events, a few hundred people made their way to Sunset Beach for a cannabis rally with little physical distancing and no apparent enforcement.
In a typical year, tens of thousands fill the grass and sand at Sunset Beach Park on April 20th for a massive pot rally, culminating in a cloud of cannabis smoke at 420. Organizers of that large event have not held one since the pandemic began. But that didn't stop some enterprising individuals from setting up shop at the beach Tuesday, selling cannabis products and entertaining passers-by with amplified live music. At its peak, at 4:20, a couple of hundred people gathered close together, some sharing joints and few wearing masks. At times, a couple of Vancouver police officers kept an eye on the crowd. We have reached out to Vancouver Police, the city, and the park board about the apparent lack of enforcement for this unsanctioned event. VPD says it treated the event as it would any other protest. The Sunset Beach parking lot, which has been locked for most of the pandemic, was open and full. Neither the city nor the park board provided a response to CTV News questions. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Well, despite the COVID restrictions, the haze was still hanging around Sunset Beach on Tuesday for 420 celebrations. Andrea McPherson covering that story this morning. Andrea, it looked like a pretty decent-sized crowd.
There was a pretty decent-sized crowd, smaller than normal, Paul, and it wasn't an official event. 420 even posted on its official social media accounts that there wouldn't be an official gathering for 2021 in order to maintain the pandemic health and safety protocols, but that didn't stop people from flocking to the beach. It looked like a regular event, again on a much smaller scale, though. Vendors also selling their products, joints, of course, in circulation on a beautiful Sunday, Tuesday afternoon. The concern, though, is that this is happening as BC's COVID-19 numbers have been surging recently and the variants are hospitalizing more people than ever. The circuit breaker restrictions mean people can only gather in groups of 10 outside. If people can't maintain social distance, they're being asked to mask up. So later on into the evening, the protest took a bit of a turn with a much larger crowd. Anti-restriction signs were seen, anti-mask slogans were there, almost merging the 420 crowd with an anti-COVID demonstration. Vancouver police were on scene but told Global News they had no intention to disperse the crowd, only to educate them. There also wasn't the usual mess left behind from this event in the morning, but still plenty of trash on the beach.
420 is the most important protest opportunity that we have all year, and we can't let it go because there's so much wrong with what's going on with the cannabis so-called legalization right now.
The weekend is worse, and yesterday wasn't too bad. Monday morning, there was Sports City workers out at English Bay helping me clean up because it was ridiculous. I filled one of those dumpsters just in that area one morning, and it's just people are just leaving a total mess.
And to top off the night last night, a drum circle spotted at Third Beach, similar to another drum circle last summer that generated national criticism. A year later, it doesn't seem like much has changed, though. Still no word if police issued any fines at this drum circle. Just the latest in a series of large beach and park gatherings over the weekend in Vancouver's West End and other areas, with people obviously looking to overcome some COVID fatigue here as we're being asked to hunker down and help flatten the curve. And the other message from Joyce Maw that we spoke with earlier this morning is if you are outside, take your trash home with you. Paul.
Always a good reminder. Thank you, Andrea. Andrea McPherson.
If you can't physically distance, make sure you pull your mask up and put your mask on. We're trying to have a very responsible event here. It's important that we do this in the times that we're living in right now. So please do that. And in the meantime, we're here because there's so much more to protest about what we got here in so-called legalization, that we feel it's very, very important that we take advantage of this platform that we've designed for ourselves to be able to get the message out about how wrong it is for our government to be taking our tax dollars and using it to hunt us down and make us use their pharmaceuticals or their alcohol or their tobacco and the things that they say are legal and we're allowed to use, and they're going to force us into those things by making sure with our own money that we don't go and get some of this natural herb that people have been using for thousands of years to help them with a variety of different things. And after all this time, you know, we've come so far. For a long time, they demonized cannabis like it was some sort of a horrible drug that made people violent and insane, and that's what they said about it. And then, but people kept using it, and that wasn't the truth. And finally, they had inquiries looking into it, and they discovered through the Schaefer Commission in the United States in 1969, and here up in Canada as well, in the studies that we looked into, they said, no, cannabis doesn't make you violent and insane. It makes you happy and peaceful and maybe a little bit hungry. But it really should never have the criminal law used against it. because that's just ridiculous. You use the criminal law as a very last resort against people who won't stop hurting other people and doing it intentionally. And for anything to be a crime, it has to have both the intention and the knowledge that you're going to harm somebody in a significant way, and then the actions that actually do that. And there needs to be a significant amount of damage done before you're a criminal and before you get found to be a criminal. And none of that is true with growing cannabis plants or sharing cannabis plants or selling or using cannabis plants. There's nothing criminal in that ever anyway. It's never been a crime to be involved with cannabis. But it's certainly been a crime to try to keep people from using cannabis, and that's still going on today. They know what they're doing. They know that the only reason they don't want you using cannabis is because rich people want to sell you their shit that they can patent. And they don't want you growing your own medicine. They want to sell you medicine at high dollars, like huge amounts that we pay for as tax dollars through a medical program where they'll help you get your pills from these pharmaceuticals that are reaping huge profits off us for that. But they're also going to spend your tax dollars to make sure that you don't grow your medicine at home. So this has been wrong for all of this time, and it continues to be wrong. And we need to continue to talk about that and continue to get that message out there. Because the most dangerous thing about this so-called legalization they've imposed on us, this model of legalization where the government controls it very tightly and they put on all these regulations and you have to use this outrageous packaging and they put taxes on it 3 or 4 times before it gets to us. And so this system of legalization, if it gets entrenched, if it gets accepted, if we all decide, well, I guess we got legalization, let's just stop protesting and go to the government store and pay our big fine up front. If we do that, then us and the generations to follow are going to be stuck with that for a long time. And that's not okay. And I'm not going to stop until we get that stopped, because this is not the legalization that we fought for. This is not what we've been asking for. This is a corrupt government that hates pot users. They hate activists. They love money. And they decided they could give us what we asked for. But really, what they're doing is dividing us and conquering us by giving us a little bit of what we want and hoping that we're going to accept that and just walk into a government store and bite our lip a little bit and go, ah, well, it's the lesser of two evils, I guess. And I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we all don't use those government stores until they allow low barrier access to people, until anybody can get a license to grow and provide to them. It's easy to do. We could do it so simply, but they want to make it complicated because they don't want to do it at all. So what's the time, folks? We're getting really close here, I think.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Oh, dear. I got to talk to you for 4 more minutes. So I'll tell you what we're doing at the leading edge of trying to get that low barrier access at this point. We've been running a program for over 4 years now where we've been giving away high-dose edibles to people on the downtown east side to help them get off of the opioids. And we've been doing that to hundreds of people. We did it for 3.5 years, just up from Main and Hastings. We'd have a big lineup of a couple hundred people. We'd give out 300 care packs every Thursday and every Sunday. And we did that for 3.5 years. The city of Vancouver, they passed a motion because of what we were doing and because of the professors and the doctors that were saying that this was really working for people. So they passed a motion over a year ago now saying that they would support low barrier access. So in good faith, our group, the Cannabis Substitution Project, we moved into a storefront after having met with the city and having had agreement and understanding that we would get a storefront. We would start providing our project from the storefront along with low-cost cannabis. And so that's what we did. But it didn't really work out. The city would only support us if the federal government would support us. So right away, we put in a really serious application to the federal government to allow us to continue what we'd been doing for 4 years at that point. And that was over 7 months ago. We asked them, we sent them an emergency request for a temporary injunction to be able to continue what we've been doing. And they said they'd try to do it in a timely fashion. That was over 7 months ago, and we're still waiting. We're still illegal. We had to move out of our shop. We're in an RV now at Cordova and Hastings, Cordova and Maine, just a little bit west of Maine on Cordova. And we're in an RV, but you can go there and we'll help you if you need to get access to really good cannabinoids at affordable prices. And we're still doing that sort of with the police, just on a standoff right now. They're waiting for Health Canada, so are we. It's been 14 weeks since we've had any contact with them, but they're right 1 block up the street from us and they're very aware of what we're doing. We got 2 minutes to go, so if you don't have something rolled or ready in a pipe, now's a good time, because we do want to send up a smoke signal, right? That's what we do every time at 420, is send up a smoke signal at 420 and give a message that we're tired of being an oppressed population of people that are just good people that just want to feel better and don't like being told that we can't access a herb that helps us feel better. And I'm really happy that so many people are willing to say something about that. Like I said, I'm happy all you people are here. I want to make sure you all just give everybody the space that they need, though, right? Because that's important. And if you can't physically distance, pull your mask up. We don't want to have a bad reputation as people that are floating laws. We are not floating laws. We're trying to do the best we can to do the most important thing that we believe in, and that's to stand up for our rights and to stand up for this plant. And so we're here today doing that, but we're going to do it in as respectful a manner as we can.
1 minute.
It's 4:18.
No, I got 4:19.
Well, it's almost 4:19.
4:18.
They're going to make me yap a little longer. So what else you can do? You can contact the Justice Minister. You can contact the Federal Health Minister, the Provincial Health Minister, anybody that you think is in a position of influence. You can write them an email. You can give a phone call. You can talk to the media. Tell the media what's going on here, because, you know, we've been a pretty happy, silent group for a long time. When we have our 420, 2 years ago, we had this whole place so packed that as far as the eye could see in all directions from that hill up there, we were packed with people here that were all willing to come out and say, we support what's going on here. We're not criminals. And that's going on now. And so I think we're getting really close.
Yeah, we got 20 seconds.
Okay, now nobody crowd in. I'm not a rock star. There's no free joints today.
Yes,
all you need to do is make sure you got a little respectful distance from people.
There was free
joints. And we're just going to sing our anthem because that's what we can do. And I hope everybody's got a joint. And it's 420, everybody. Oh, cannabis, the sacred plant of peace, with healing power, it helps our eyes to see. And with glowing joints, we make the point that the true north should be free. And with wise red eyes, we criticize the war against our families. Oh, cannabis, their drug war's a bust. Oh, cannabis, we stand here high and proud for thee. Oh, cannabis, the sacred plant of peace. Thank you all very much, and thank you for being here and being respectful of each other. Let's try to be as safe as we can in this crazy world that we're living in, and let's try to free the weed and free ourselves and put governments back where they belong as public servants. All right. And we respect the unceded territory.
Yes, respect the land around you. Please pick up the garbage. I am the Grand Marshal. Welcome to 420. Yeah, I see you're sending smoke signals. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? But welcome, everybody. Keep the distance, the mask. Like we say, have a great time and stay medicated. And thank you for coming. And we have CTV News and Global. So smile for the camera.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Jerry, you want to come and talk to her? You have to get it where it's a little more fun.
Hey, happy 420. Happy 420, my friend. I'm just going to turn around and say that to you, too. Happy 420, everybody! Woohoo! All right.
So,
I'm on camera duty today.
Yeah, thanks very much, Brent.
No problem.
You don't get to see you for the 420.
Oh, sorry, I just did it. So Jerry Martin is a good friend of ours and we've been on the show many times, but for those who don't know, he's a dispensary owner from Saskatchewan that had a dispensary for about 4 years there and ended up, because of legalization, being asked to shut her down and stop, but unable to do that. Of course, you can't turn people away that are sick and that you're helping, and that's not the right thing to do, and he didn't do that. And so that cost him getting arrested and charged and having his stuff seized, and now it's been over 4 years trying to get a day in court, over 40 appearances before judges trying to make things work, and here we are, we're 6 days away, Jerry.
6 days and it's starting, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's exciting, I think, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally here.
Yeah. Little lump in your throat, or no?
I think this part is going to be fairly not too bad. And I get to go last as the witness, which is not normal.
I see.
So yeah, but so I get to watch everybody else get cross-examined before I do.
Yeah.
So that'll be helpful too.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm optimistic. You know, I've always been optimistic. I didn't think they'd even let it get into court.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're 6 days away from this happening, and it's a 2-day event. 3-day event?
3-day event, yeah.
And then it's
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's part one.
Part one,
two
yeah.
parts, and the second part is going to be in September.
In September 17th, 18th, I think.
See, and that should be a decision come sometime after that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Very interesting times. I mean, this is the real fight for low barrier access and medical users having a store that they can walk into and get what they need in a reasonable way. And that certainly never did happen yet, and that's what we're fighting for. So it's like the most important case at this point. And you're also involved with Pat Warnicki and another.
I
see.
And Pat messaged me today. He said he's got it almost ready. They're almost done, pretty much ready to go for next week. Yeah.
I see. Cool.
I got a little more reading to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So and you're still involved in some other things. How's that going?
Good. Microdose is doing awesome, and my tech is going in a sales space.
So what's the difference between those two things? So Microdelics, that's where people can get access to microdosing.
Yeah, it's a research chemicals. They can do their own research.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other company, the MindTech?
MindTech, we're going to actually be an actual biopharmaceutical company to create psychedelic-inspired medicines, for microdosing and hopefully for, megadosing too, macrodosing. Yeah, so we'll be doing several studies and things like that, patenting our own drugs and things like that, yeah. And then we'll be doing a freedom of thought case. This is the main part of it, so that we can try.
That sounds pretty historic. Has anybody ever done it?
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not Canada, and I think there's been very few maybe done in the world. Yeah.
Wow, it's groundbreaking stuff. So
for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got good news. I think I'm gonna be able to do the toad again. So
there's a toad guy.
Yeah. Doctor said my heart was in fabulous shape. So. Yeah, he was astounded.
The cacti and the mushrooms and the frog medicines.
And heart studies was good too, that superfood I was eating.
I see.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, health food. Yeah.
Well, you look pretty healthy.
Yeah, sun helps. Yeah.
So you're going to take part in the trial thing from here, I guess?
Yeah, from the comfort of my home, I guess. But I may go somewhere else because
So can you put like provocative posters up behind you there?
That's why I'm going to go somewhere else. I've got those already.
I didn't mean provocative in that way. I mean, thought-provoking is what I was...
Yeah, I don't have any of those on me, but yeah. No
depends which room of your house you do the show.
Yeah, I don't want to see something.
Maybe wear his I Make Cute Babies t-shirt.
Me up after.
Maybe you have to dress properly and not have any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'll wear that suit and tie and be respectful of the courts.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. It's not the law.
The days of Zoom, man.
Yeah.
It's really changing a lot of things. I'm wondering whether there's going to be some challenges to the way they would do things down the road. Because you're really being denied some of the regular things that you would get, some rights that you would have if you were able to go into a courtroom.
What's that personal energy, like, so they get to feel you, they're not just see you on the screen,
and
right?
Your supporters that probably be sitting in the courtroom.
Yeah, exactly. So sure it does. Yeah, and you don't get to see that same support like people want the change, right? So
And same with if they have any witnesses that say that you actually did kidnap that kid, it's not about kidnapping the kid.
No.
So if there was any witnesses against
they
him,
only have one witness, one expert they're bringing in anyway. One expert.
But you don't get to look him in the eye.
Yeah, exactly. Because some of the police reports were not written the way it happened at all.
Right.
And things. So
did they have some of those guys as witnesses?
I know they're the statements are in there and things like that. So yeah. But they try and twist things into a different perspective. Of
course.
Right? To suit them.
That's kind of human nature, and that's probably the job,
Yeah.
That's what they're paid to do.
Yeah.
And they can't look bad.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't see how they can look good, except I guess they're just doing what they're told.
Yeah.
So is there anything people can do? I mean, there's 6 days to go. Can they write letters, make phone calls, send emails, anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know the judge's name offhand. I don't know how well I'd be doing that, but the Crown would be a good one. I'm sure it's located on Saskatchewan court cases, so you can reach. I don't know them off my head. I've got a new Crown now. You can send letters to my lawyer too, Paul Lewin at Bell.net, I think. Yeah.
And you can add them to the file or forward them to whoever.
Sure, yeah. As a support, yeah. Or you can send them to me on Facebook or Instagram. You can reach me, or through Microdelics. Yeah.
I guess, so if it's 6 days from now, and it's 3 days, so you're going to be involved with that during the show date, but maybe it'll be done in time to come and give us an update of what's happened so far.
Yeah.
Recorded Zoom and then
You're smoking there, man. Holy shit.
I know, that's a big one, eh? That's like one of the biggest ones I've ever seen in my life.
Wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Right there, that guy in the black. Don't show him.
Oh, yeah, I know who he is, yeah.
He came all the way from Alberta to meet me, and he's going to help us with the program a little bit, so that's really awesome.
Yeah, we were talking before you came here, yes.
Yeah, he just wants to help. He wants to feel like he's doing something, and we're a way that he can feel that, so that's really awesome. And he happens to have some really good cannabinoids.
Yeah, really?
So he rolled up these joints, or he had actually my crew, the Healing Wave CSG Reefer van, they rolled this along with two others, and they got the other two, and I get this one. But kudos, to that guy.
Try light her up again. I haven't been able to light mine because it's too windy.
It's a torch.
There you go.
Try some of that.
Yeah, I'll leave the lighter.
It's good, bud. Is that yours?
No, that's. No.
It's not yours. Wow, in a strange world of people that space themselves, there's a bunch of spaced out space people here, and there's a really good vibe going on. It's a wonderful day in Vancouver.
Well, seems like a nice time, Neil. I'm going to get back to the play.
All right, say goodbye. He's going to get back to the show.
All right, well, we'll say goodbye then. We'll sign off from Vancouver. Stay safe, stay sane, have as much fun as you can. Bring the word.
Peace and blood. Cheers, guys.